in, sizing up Murphy. Drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This is Dart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, March 23rd, with another late pod as the Thunder play another West Coast game on a Sunday night, this time defeating the Los Angeles Clippers 103-101. We'll dive all into that one in just a second. I am your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. Got my guy, Justin Peabody, with me tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Nick Crane is here.
We're, 8 years into this now, and I still don't have a cool punchline.
We're
I
not.
need one.
Are we 8 years into this? We're not. Are we?
Almost.
No.
Almost.
Not quite.
2018.
2017, 18?
18. We're close.
February of 2018.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Taylor's here.
I'm here. Yeah. February 2018. I sent you guys the on this day from my Facebook when we launched here.
Yeah, that video was insane to
Oh
watch,
my gosh.
by the way.
I was
Nick
probably
and I were
40 pounds
babies.
heavier.
And I get to say that because I wasn't in it.
You were not in it.
Nick and Taylor looked like infants,
Children.
actual children.
Nick and I peaked in college.
Well,
You peaked in high school, buddy.
amazing.
We are brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network and the homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales. Shout out to Prairie. Hopefully we're going to have some fun stuff coming up with Prairie soon with the playoffs on the horizon. Speaking of the playoffs, we're inching closer and closer. There's 11 games left in the regular season.
Yes.
11? There's
Math.
11 games
Quick
left
maths.
in the regular season. And you know we will have you guys covered all throughout the playoffs. What was that?
Was that Nick?
Something dropped in the Sims house.
Not
the
here.
Sims window broke.
Taylor's laughing. I think it was him.
Oh yeah, he's muted too.
I've been on mute because I was
What?
replying in
There's
the
a
chat.
ghost. There's a ghost on this here podcast.
You know we're gonna have you guys covered for the playoffs. We're gonna have some cool graphics, maybe some new merch. I'm just talking about things that Justin needs to do and get the ball rolling. So let's go, Justin. I'm teasing.
Yikes.
But the playoffs, draft lottery, like tons of fun stuff coming up in April, May, and June for this OKC Thunder team.
Love
so
that.
make sure you're subbed to all the social media channels. Make sure you're in the Patreon. It's going to be a fun time as we get down the stretch of the regular season here. Hopefully going to have some live events for you guys. I think we're going to have some cool podcasts and some maybe special locations, just tons of fun stuff. So make sure you're plugged in with the Uncontested. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your grandma. Jump on.
Travis
chat-
saying he needs a baby alligator shirt. Incredible.
The chat is already off the chains. We love you guys. Thunder beat the Los Angeles Clippers tonight, 103-101. In what felt like just a physical butt kicking the entire game. Just bodies getting thrown around.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
OKC, without their second and third best players, still go into the Intuit Dome and come across with a win. First question of the night. The Intuit Dome has a big old Jumbotron. Jumbotron. Does it cost more or less than the four of our houses combined?
Probably
More.
more.
Definitely
more.
more.
You kidding me? Not a question.
That thing is
How much?
crazy.
How much do you think that thing costs? Like 2 million? 3 million?
No.
More.
We're talking
Way
like,
more.
Really?
I wanna
Just
pull
for the
this up.
video board?
Yes. Yes.
I'm Googling, quick Google. Intuit Dome. I looked up Intuit cost, and it's trying to sell me QuickBooks. Intuit Dome costs nearly $100 million, Jacob. So unless you've moved to a new location, it's more expensive than the 4 of our houses.
Wow.
Well, I'm not talking about the whole Intuit
38,000
Dome.
square foot jumbo.
Just the Halo board.
Just the
Just the
jumbo.
Halo board
yeah.
Is 100 million?
Yes.
And it was $2 billion for the entire dome.
Yeah.
100 mil.
What?
Ooh.
If you don't count Jacob's summer home, then it's more.
What?
And his beach house.
$100 million for that thing?
It like shoots T-shirts out of it. It does everything.
Bro,
Jacob's face right now.
this is late stage capitalism at its finest.
That's
That
Steve
is-
Ballmer at his finest. Is
Okay,
what that is.
that is
What
insane.
do you think the new Paycom Center one cost?
That's what I
Dude,
was trying to look up. And I
I
couldn't
now
find the
have
answer.
no frame of reference for any of that.
That-
I think
have no clue.
I think
That
the
was
Paycom one
reportedly
was.
7.5.
I was going to say.
reportedly.
I was thinking like 5-ish.
That makes sense.
$7.5 million. Imagine if one of the cable snaps and that thing just falls.
I tried
Like not on
to.
people.
Oh,
Like
Just in general. That's
like
a lot
when
of
you were
insurance.
when you
Only
and
if the
Silva
Clippers are
were
on the floor.
standing under it.
yeah. They lowered it real low. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
What if he
probably-
got trapped? It's like
Yeah.
a,
But you-
it's like a circle.
Yeah, it's like a cage, it's like a mouse trap. You remember playing mousetrap and the little thing would go and fall and trap the mouse?
Yes, I played that 2 days ago. Actually,
Really?
we play a lot of mousetrap in this here house.
I love that. I love that. Well, the Clippers got trapped like a mouse tonight.
Well done. Way to bring it.
Final
Way to bring it
3
back.
possessions of the game. Nick, let's start with you. Just a big thought, a big takeaway from this Thunder 103-101 win. It's their 10th road win in a row. That is a franchise record.
I think this is one of the, not to discount or discredit a victory. This is one
Here
of
we
those that
go.
I think the Clippers have to really be super, super upset about. Like, they are really good at home. Like, really, really good at home. Like, if they played all their games at home, they'd probably be like number 2 in the West. They are on a hot streak at home. They got Shai's worst game of the season. They also got the opportunity to not play against Dub and Chet, and they still lost with a mostly fully healthy roster, and that stings. Like, if you're a Clippers fan, I just don't know how you look at this season and still think you have hopes of making noise in the West, just to be honest.
That was
Very
exactly
deflating.
my takeaway too. The Thunder shouldn't have won this game, both because of in-game performance and just because of, no Dub, no Chet. Clippers are fully healthy. Like you said, they've been playing great lately and they're really solid at home. And then you come out and Shai has his most inefficient game of the season. Nobody on this team shot well. Shai 1 of 7 from behind the arc. Alex Caruso 2 of 7 from behind the arc. Isaiah Joe 0 of 4 from behind the arc. These guys were not hitting shots like they've been hitting shots all season, and yet Oklahoma City snatches a win in LA. That's incredibly impressive.
Probably
LA needed this one, like you said, Nick. They're fighting for playoff
that's the
standing.
big thing.
I was
The
about
Thunder
to
have
say, yeah.
Wincy locked up.
Well, one team had a lot to play for tonight. The other had
Yeah.
literally nothing to play for tonight.
Hence why they rested Chet. And it's great to see Dub on this road trip. Hopefully that means he will be playing a couple nights against the Kings in Sacramento. But like you mentioned, Nick, the Clippers had won 5 straight, like not even just at home. They had been on a hot streak. I think Harden's been playing really well. Insane. This was the Thunder's first win this year in a 1-possession game.
That's wild.
And this is from Nick Gallow. The score was within 1 possession for the final 8 minutes and 38 seconds. So for all of the big media talking heads that want to talk about the Thunder aren't battle tested and teams don't fear this team in the West, they just did this on probably Shai's worst game of the season without Dub and Chet, and the Thunder were still able to pull off an extremely gritty win on the road. I think that just shows, and it was won by defense there down the stretch, which we obviously will get into. I just thought it was incredibly impressive.
I knew you were going to call it gritty.
Gritty grind.
Gritty.
You can't say
What,
grit
what
and grind.
what's it called whenever a word sounds like the action that it's supposed to be? Is that an onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Weird. That is the
Gritty.
weirdest thing you could ever bring up because we had an entire dinner conversation tonight about onomatopoeia.
Oh, how did
That's
that go?
crazy.
Who's we? Just you and your
Well-
wife just chilling and talking about onomatopoeias?
Well, there's. I'll give you the long story short. There's a game called Wordle, and
Yeah.
Great
the
game.
way you play it, like there's, you the strategy apparently is your first guess. You want to have a lot of vowels so that you can have a better chance of whatever. And I started to think like, what words? Not that this would fit in Wordle, but like, what words have a lot of vowels? And I was like, onomatopoeia. And I was like, what is that? I haven't thought about that word in 20 years. So I looked it up, and then we talked about it. So
That's amazing. You made
So you
this
haven't
happen.
thought about onomatopoeia since you were 10 years old.
yes,
But this Thunder
middle
win
school.
certainly made us think of onomatopoeias
Gritty
because there was
is
just bang,
Title
pow,
of the podcast.
Shazam.
I prefer sopapias.
What onomatopoeia do you make while eating a sopapoeia?
I don't know, something. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Let's move on.
I do like a good sopapoeia. Justin,
Yes.
thoughts on the game?
I don't know how I follow that. Nick started to allude to it before he took us down that rabbit trail. The defense. That's what turned things around in the second quarter. Oklahoma City was down 10 at the end of the first. They outscored the Clippers 33-17 in the second quarter. The offense was better in the second, but mostly it felt like because they were hitting shots that they weren't hitting in the first. But what changed was the defensive end, going from 34 points in the first for the Clippers to 17 in the second. The Thunder defense was relentless in that second quarter, and I think that carried through down the stretch. Oklahoma City was getting in passing lanes, making things difficult, tipping the ball off of Zubac's fingertips down the stretch, which I think inadvertently caused Ty Lue to burn his last time out before he realized it was his last time out. All those little things that the Thunder do night in and night out, I think you got to see it on display in a close game. To Taylor's point, this team hasn't often found themselves in those situations this season. So to see it, like you said, the final 8 minutes this game was within one possession is pretty insane. And I think you got to see the tenacity of the Thunder defense on full display during that stretch. And I think Alex Caruso really stood out to me as a guy that was getting it done on the defensive end. Not surprising, right? But he's just everywhere. He's everywhere. He guarded everybody down the stretch and got his hands on everything. And I think, that you can talk about the Thunder's offseason moves all you want. Giddey put up some insane numbers in LA, but you can't watch this Thunder team and not realize the impact that Alex Caruso has already made and is going to continue make into the playoffs.
So Justin,
Dog.
I
He's a
pulled this-
dog.
He is. Yeah, and he got his first start, or not first start, but his first start in a while tonight, which was fun. His most games in a long time, and hopefully that means that the Thunder are kind of ramping him up, getting ready for the playoffs. But one other stat I pulled, this is from Michael Martin on Twitter, but the Thunder are on pace to average the most steals per game and points off turnovers since the 1997-1998 Celtics. The reason that's kind of cool, especially during March Madness here, when Rick Pitino just lost, shout out St. John, who kind of screwed my bracket. But anyways, Rick Pitino's Boston team was notorious for full court press, almost the entirety of the game. And for the Thunder to do that in the modern era, be able to match that or surpass that stat, like that's crazy. Historic.
That's insane.
All right, Taylor, your turn. Something from the game.
I mean, we can dive down into individual players, but I hate doing this, but we're going to do it. I thought the refereeing was horrific. Shai was getting absolutely hounded by Chris Dunn, by Ben Simmons. Absolutely nothing. Clippers fans are complaining and bitching and moaning, and the Thunder can't get anything on the other side of the floor. Like, I just thought it was absolutely insane. Meanwhile, you have like Zubac getting calls and Harden getting his calls, his ticky-tack fouls from three. Kind of interesting. I think a lot of this is due to how the game was called down the stretch, but the Thunder had 22 fouls to the Clippers 19, and they shot 20 free throws to the Clippers 28. But like I said, that's pretty inflated. They're down the end of the stretch. I saw like a lot of national Clippers beat writers and people who covered the team complaining about the foul calls. And really the only bad one down the stretch there, and really the entirety of the game, was when Shai fouled Zubac, which I think is fair. That was a missed call. On the other end, these guys are getting hounded. I don't know how many foul calls or and ones that Wiggins, Caruso, Shai, when they're driving to the rim, they just weren't able to get. I don't know. I'm not one to usually complain about fouls, and I know we're pushing back on the free throw merchant narrative, but tonight it felt very one-sided to me.
The Thunder didn't shoot a free throw until, what was it?
Like 7 minutes left in the second?
Yeah, I was going to say 18, 19 minutes into the game. That's wild.
A non-Shai player didn't take a free throw until 7 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's wild. Someone showed that stat to Austin Rivers. Might help him on his next podcast. But you can call it a playoff atmosphere if you want, but I agree, Taylor. It was inconsistent. I think it contributed at least somewhat to Shai's game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good transition.
He was trying to drive a lot and wasn't getting calls. And despite the Intuit Dome chanting flopper all night at Shai, I didn't think most of them felt like foul baiting, right? Like he wasn't necessarily driving in just looking for a foul. I think there were a few possessions where he was, and I think it was justified, just like James Harden. He feels the contact. He looks for the foul. That's not the same thing as just flopping to trick the refs, right? If you're feeling contact and you're trying to initiate it and get a foul call, that's a big part of playing basketball. And I don't think Shai was getting a lot of those calls tonight. Evened out a little bit down the stretch. The 11 for 11 from the free throw stripe for Shai tonight, like you said, Taylor, a little bit inflated just due to the end of game free throws that went down. But I think these types of games are really good for this Thunder team, right? I'll give Austin Rivers that. You want to put this team in this situation and see how they respond, and they responded pretty well. I thought the Clippers, on the other hand, throwing literal temper tantrums with 2 minutes left in the game, like Zubac stomping his feet, and who was it? Harden had his hands up in the air. Norman Powell was waving around, like yelling at the refs. They were so focused on that part of the game down the stretch, and the Thunder. You just don't ever see the Thunder do that, really. It's so rare from this team. Mm-hmm. I think that is going to be the factor in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Like whatever, teams are going to get so frustrated playing the Thunder because they're a very frustrating team to play. The Thunder's composure are not going to allow themselves to get in that type of situation very often. But
Norman Powell, for other teams. Yeah, Norman Powell, every time the Thunder play them, he's the ultimate, wants to act like he's super mad and going to go fight somebody, but doesn't do anything type of guy.
Like when he had his nosebleed and was trying to fight off the trainer.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And then just to go bleed on the floor, like, brother, you better not have AIDS.
Wow.
Magic Johnson.
Passing that blood everywhere.
And then you had James Harden obviously go down there. I'm not sure if it was non-contact or if it was truly a knee.
Lou's knee got him in the thigh / hip area.
Then they're complaining after the game that we shouldn't. We Harden wanted to go back out there and compete. We should have taken him out. Now it's his thigh and his ankle. It's just there's a very stark contrast between the Clippers and the Thunder. Yeah. But I did think you brought up a good point, Justin, and maybe we kind of transitioning us to an individual player like Shai, 7 of 29 from the floor, probably his worst offensive game of the season, even though he still had 26 points. I think, and again, there's a lot of missed calls, and the refs were allowing them to be the Clippers to be physical guarding Shai, but we're going to see a lot of that in the playoffs. But the big thing there is he didn't have a J-Dub or a Chet this game as an outlet, and the outlets he did have weren't knocking down shots.
Had an Aaron Wiggins.
They had it.
Which people were upset with Wiggins' performance tonight. I thought he played well.
Dude, but he was a huge burst.
Yeah, especially in that
Especially in
fourth quarter, the start of the fourth. But
second
going
and
back to kind of the foul stuff and the physicality in the playoffs that Justin was kind of talking about, I've seen some people say like, "Oh, well, this is what you do to Shai in the playoffs when the whistle is a little bit looser and they let guys play a little bit more and bump a little bit more, they can get physical with Shai." The flip side is also true.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you let this Thunder team, if you allow that defense to get more physical, if you allow the game to be a bar fight, like that favors Oklahoma City in a major, major, major way.
Yep.
And we've been talking about the defensive performance tonight. You were down 2 of your top 3 defenders in Dub and Chet, 2 of your top 4 defenders.
Yep.
Like, I think this game looks even better defensively than it already did if you have J-Dub on Kawhi all night. So there's a lot of interesting pieces to this, but for the crowd that says, "Oh, Shai's going to struggle in the playoffs because of the physicality and teams are going to get to rough him up on his drives to the basket," meet Lou Dort. He might gut you like a fish.
Yeah.
Alex
Yeah,
Caruso might gnaw your foot off like a feral mongoose.
Physicality goes both ways for sure.
And I think we're going to see Shai make a lot of those shots that he historically has made in the past, especially this season. He wasn't making those, and I think some of that
Nobody
is due
was
to
making them tonight.
some frustrations, but he's going to make some of those baseline fadeaways and some of those mid-range shots that he missed time.
He missed some stuff.
J-Will was the only guy that made anything tonight.
J-Will was 3 of 3. Great.
He's
He's
been
awesome.
I think Fred Van Skeet is saying, he says, this crew hasn't been in a fight a day in their lives. I think he's speaking of us. Any of you guys ever been in a fist fight before?
Nick and I can scrap.
with each other.
Yes. And also,
here's a better
especially
question from Fred Van Skeet, who spent the time to go meet a couple of you guys last night. Royal Rumble, who would win?
Who takes home the
Could you answer the
crown?
question? Who do you think would win?
I think Nick would win.
Wow.
Nick's like the most competitive.
That's fair.
You're saying I would take it the most serious and you guys would just laugh.
He's not afraid to play dirty.
I'm going to just put my hand on Nick's forehead and he can punch air all night.
Stiff arm.
But back to the original question, have any of you guys ever been in an actual fist fight before?
Can I say yes? Yes.
Yes.
If it's true.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
In 4th grade.
Oh, okay.
Fourth
Okay.
In
grade.
4th grade.
Did you win?
I met a kid by the playgrounds, by the swing sets at recess, and
Gave him the smoke? Just baited him?
I think it ended up. Yeah, he punched me on the side of the head, and then I think we were both just like choking each other, like the Bart Simpson gif. And then a teacher came over. Yeah.
Was this before your growth spurt or during?
I mean, I was always tall. Anyway.
So Nick's never been in a fight. Terry, you ever been in a fight?
I've been in 1 or 2
No, you have not.
in college. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about those.
Getting rough on TU's campus.
Yeah.
Do we think
We get a little
JD has
competitive.
ever been in a fist fight?
No.
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 Yeah, I don't think so either. Would JD win a fist fight?
That's a broad question. Depends on against Steven Adams? No.
Yes, I bet on JD. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
What a wild rabbit hole that is.
We need to give away a well, I guess we're not giving it away. We need to award a King of the Prairie before favorite Fight Club pod that occasionally talks Thunder basketball. The real question is, if we pitted all the Thunder podcasts in a Royal Rumble, which podcast would come out on top? Wouldn't be us. We'd get our asses kicked.
My money's on Thunder Basketball Universe for that one.
No, Gallow's going to show up.
Gallow got that right hook. I can feel it.
I
Gallow
think
and
Paris
Paris
has some power too. Yeah.
Paris would kneecap you. I don't know if Paris listens to the pod, but what's up, Paris? Justin, can you give us a Prairie plug real quick?
Yes, I can. Prairie are good friends and sponsors. They continue to put out fabulous new release beers in addition to hosting trivia every Sunday at 4:30. Their latest release, ready, is called Karate Chimp.
Ooh.
Karate Chimp is a sour ale with apricot, mango, and tangerine. Sounds delicious. I will be looking for some of that. And if that sounds up your alley, or you like to play trivia, or both, or pickleball, or watch basketball, or eat barbecue, or just have good hangs, Prairie OKC is your place.
Sounds like a lot of things you could do.
That's right. So much room for activities.
Kaylee in the chat says, Pears could knock me out, and I'd say thank you. Nick, who is your king of the prairie tonight?
Ooh, boy. I'm going to go Alex Caruso because
the correct
he
choice.
changed the game down the stretch. I think honorable mention could be J. Will, actually. Yeah, he's been on a heater in March, and he was a big reason it wasn't a large deficit early in the game. He played very well.
J. Will's been awesome.
Justin, who's your king of the prairie?
I'm also going Caruso. I think that's the correct answer. His impact on defense is you can't overstate it.
Taylor.
Caruso was my pick as well. I think that's the correct pick. But if I had to pick a number 2 or a Prince of the Prairie,
of the Prairie, yes.
I would have gone with Isaiah Hartenstein. 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 of 12, 50% from the floor, 2 from the free throw lines, and had 2 steals and 3 blocks. Hart was a monster down low against Zubac and trying to defend guys like Kawhi and Harden getting to the rim. I thought he had a fantastic game. If it wasn't Caruso's huge impact, that huge corner 3 he had there in the fourth, and obviously his insane defense, I think Hartenstein might have been the guy.
AC is the king of the prairie. He is also maybe the king of my life.
King of your heart.
That's what I was going to say.
The king of my heart. Twin balled out. 31 minutes tonight, I believe. Is that right? 31 minutes?
That is.
31 minutes, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. And those final 3 or 4 possessions defensively on Kawhi, he just gets after it, man. Like it's really, really, really impressive. It's awesome. You absolutely love to see it. While we wait for Nick to get back real quick, we need to talk about another Nick. Is Gallow going to get a ring?
Yes. He has to.
He might get a jersey up in the rafters at this point.
Will there be a picture of Gallow with the championship ring and a grill?
Yes.
J-Dub's grill.
With the like champagne goggles on.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Remember how last year the whole thing was barking, and then the last game of the season they made Gallow bark?
Yes.
I feel like they've already like played their ace this year by like dressing him up in the hoodie and the jersey, and then now putting the 1970s. I'm trying to join the Black Panthers hat with the Jesus piece.
It was incredible.
I don't know how they top it. You
just got to keep it going.
That's what I was.
Whoever's the next player.
This is the move from now on. I think.
Are they going to get him like his own chain? Because I could see them all pitching in.
That's a great idea.
Getting Gallow a Gallow chain.
Oh my gosh!
What's a big Gallow flashing?
I've never known I needed something so bad until right now.
Like that would be sick.
Like remember the pic Chet posted of the rings with it was Shai, Dub, Chet, and Dort's faces.
I thought you were going to say, remember the picture of Chet in a do-rag, and I was like, oh my god,
or that
Gallow do-rag.
Or that they get Gallow in a do-rag,
dude.
Game over.
Incredible.
Get Gallow in a do-rag and put a cigarette in his mouth and another tucked behind his ear.
I think that'll be you after we win the championship.
That might be. I need to.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I've admitted this on the podcast, but when I did that last year, putting that Pall Mall cigarette in my mouth is the most disgusting thing I've probably ever done in my life. That thing was gross.
I was really hoping that you were going to say I smoked the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Absolutely
waste
not.
it.
Just having the filter in my mouth made me feel dirty.
That's amazing. I will say, like, the ability to refresh the post game interview, like they hadn't really barked this season. Then they were doing like the stuff with the towels. The ability to continue to keep it fun, I think, is such a testament to this team and the vibes. Right?
I'm going to be real honest with
blast.
you. The official NBA Twitter account posted that Gallow interview with the hoodie and the jersey, and you scroll it, and it's just a bunch of haters saying this is why the Thunder are going to lose in the playoffs, blah, 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 Lakers in 3.
They're so jealous.
I've bookmarked about 50 of them.
Yes.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I got the receipts.
Yeah.
Empty the clip.
You guys want to play some trivia?
Yes.
Let's do it. Trivia tonight brought to you again by the homies, not the homers, the homies over at Prairie Artisan Ales. Shout out Prairie. It's a good place.
Shout out Prairie.
Shout out Prairie. All right, I got some trivia questions for you. You guys ready?
So ready.
Everyone queued up?
Taylor, got your whiteboard? Love it.
First one. Not. Trivia question number 1. Spell onomatopoeia. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want to see what letters Taylor puts on his board. 3 questions tonight brought to us again by the homie Rob over on the Discord. Make sure you join the Patreon and get in the Discord with us. Question number 1. What is OKC's record when Hartenstein plays? For reference, that is 48 games. So in 48 games, what is their record when Hartenstein plays? Do some math. It's got a total 48.
Got an answer.
All right, let's see them. 43-5, 42-6, 43-5. The answer, 42-6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bang.
Taylor.
Well done, Taylor.
Bang.
That's an insane record, but I don't want to gloss over that. But
yeah.
I was sitting here thinking, like, I know it's good, but is it that good? It's that good.
It's
that good.
Thinking about the Thunder's record in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's only so
not
many
that far off. 60.
Yeah.
No, it'd be like a 60 or 70 win pace versus a 72 win pace or something.
Yeah,
that's wild. So what's the record right now for the
59-12? Yep.
59-12. So Tuesday night's the chance to get to 60. How are we feeling? Do they get to 65?
I think they get 65.
Even without playing, they're top guys.
That's insane.
Wild. That's wild, dude. That's wild. Question number 2 from Rob. What is OKC's 3-point shooting percentage since the turn of the new year? You don't need to put a decimal point. We're going to round. So just a baseline 85%. You don't have to put 85.2%.
I like that you chose that. I like that you chose that as your example number. All right. Ready?
Let's see them. We got Nick with 38, Taylor with 38, Justin with 37.
Wow.
The answer is 39.
Wow.
Close. Very close.
So close.
Pretty good.
That is.
Pretty good.
Wonder how tonight affects that.
That would be number 1 in the league in 2025.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
One of us 3 might have been right if we included tonight's game.
That's
Question
true.
number 3. Where do the Thunder rank in total rebounds per game for the entire season? If you remember last year, I think they were like 27th or 28th. We got Nick with 13, Taylor with 12th, Justin with 15th, The answer is 11th at 44.9. That is tied with
We've
the
been
Boston
so
Celtics.
close.
Wow.
They
It's a
are
lot better.
6th in the league since January 1st at 45.6.
That's a great indicator heading into the playoffs. It helps getting Chet back, I think.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Chet,
I think
Chet's
having
been
both
rebounding
bigs,
really well, man.
having
Yep.
both bigs, I'd be curious what the numbers are when both Chet and Hart play.
Yeah, I don't have a way to look that up right now. I could, but we're gonna.
That was
we'd
not
be
a
here while-
request. That was just a
Okay.
thought.
I appreciate that. But I did want to look this up real quick for you guys. On the season now, I know Chet didn't play tonight. You guys know how many games Chet's played this season?
Ew.
21.
20. Sorry.
Saying
I
that one
was looking at wins. 24. They are 20-4 when he plays. But he is shooting 50, 37, 72 from the free throw line. But it's 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and almost 3 blocks a game.
Not to be doomsday. Look at the numbers since coming back.
They're not great.
Brings
They're
them
really
down.
good
Yeah.
pre, not great post, but it's getting your legs back. I don't.
Yep.
It's not a,
For sure.
He's still
And
ramping up.
and factoring back into a team that's kind of established. I think his rebounding has been really impressive since he's been back. I've really appreciated that from him.
And his rim protection's still been there, which is huge.
Absolutely. Those two 7-footers just have a connection that is really impressive for how little they played.
The chemistry between those two, I think if it continues to evolve, if it peaks heading into the playoffs, that's super exciting.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. Sounds good. We will be right back. We are back. We're gonna talk the upcoming schedule and make some predictions. We haven't podcasted for a real long time. We're only at minute 38. So let's
A minute
make
38?
predictions. A minute 38. 38 minutes. Let's talk about these next 3 games and make predictions, but maybe dig into them a little bit more and give thoughts on what we're thinking. I don't think there's a lot of takeaways that we can get, but maybe so. Nick, I'm coming to you first. Tuesday night, the Thunder still on the West Coast playing the Sacramento Kings. It's a late tip. Before you give a prediction, Nick, just give us some thoughts on that upcoming matchup against guys like DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. It sounds like Domantas Sabonis will be out that game.
Yep. That will be a game that if you force difficult shots, they could still make them. Like LaVine and DeRozan are both like the token, holy cow, they just made tough shots all night. But I think it's a game they win pretty easy. There has been some struggles in Sacramento the past couple of years. I think a lot of that was just Sabonis dominated the team that didn't have a center, and now it's kind of the opposite. I think that's another double-digit win under the belt as the Thunder pursues the most double-digit wins in a season in NBA history.
Anything, Justin and Taylor, you're looking for specifically in that Sacramento Kings matchup?
I think the big
Could
thing
be a
there-
play-in for what it's worth.
Yeah. And Chet, he was questionable tonight with, you guessed it, a hip strain, but went through his pregame workout. Looked like he maybe could have played. I think he'll be fine probably for that game. And then the other big thing is J-Dub. He made the road trip. So it'd be very strange for the Thunder to bring him on that road trip and then not to play him against the Kings. I think he's probably going to be ready to go. So if you have basically a fully healthy Thunder squad, and also coming off Shai's like kind of rough offensive game tonight, I think he's going to come out fired up. And I'm with Nick. I could see a double-digit win.
I want to see the Thunder play well, A, in Sacramento, and B, on TNT. And
Oh, I didn't know it's a
one.
TNT game.
Good point.
this game has both of
Oh,
those. So
9 p.m. game. Who has
like-
that post game?
please, just like this is the opportunity. The Thunder have had so many national TV games this year where they've just come out flat. I think, Nick, your point about Sacramento, without Sabonis, without Fox, is probably, it's a very different environment than what playing at Sacramento has been. So I'm less worried about that, but you never know. There always are weird arenas that seem to give teams problems. But I agree. I'm looking for this Thunder team, if fully healthy, to come out and just sweep the leg from the first quarter.
I like it. Then on Thursday night, the Thunder are home for the beginning of a 4-game home stretch. That'll be nice after this
Huge.
dead sprint from the post All-Star break. But they start a 4-game home trip. 4-game home trip. They go on the road for 1 game. They come home for back-to-back games against the Lakers, and they have 3 road games to end the season. But the beginning of that home game stand is Thursday night against the Memphis Grizzlies. Justin, I'm just going to come right back to you on this one. This is a possible playoff matchup at some point. What are you looking for from the Thunder in this Grizzlies matchup in the Paycom Center?
Pain and suffering for the Grizzlies. That's what I'm looking for. No, but really, I'm looking for more of the same. Like I was kind of being facetious, but the Thunder have played really well against the Grizzlies this season, and I don't see any reason why that wouldn't continue. The Grizzlies have been so inconsistent as of late. After Oklahoma City played them last time, they rattled off 4 wins, and now they've lost 4 of their last 5. And losses coming against Cleveland, fine. Sacramento, Portland, and Clippers. Like, there's some good teams in there, but there's also a Sacramento and a Portland. And this team is not the team that I think we thought they were the first half of the season when they were having a lot of success. And I don't see any reason that the Thunder shouldn't dominate Memphis again. And hopefully Chris Vernon will actually tweet during the game this time, unlike last time.
Taylor, any thoughts on what you're looking for, what you expect, what you want to see from a Thunder-Memphis matchup on Thursday?
My prediction would also be a win. But one thing that I'm looking for in that game, they're coming back off the West Coast trip. We've seen guys like Chet and Dub rest. We've seen Shai get beat up like he did tonight, playing a lot of minutes. I think he's obviously going to want to play a lot against the Kings as well. I could see some guys kind of resting in that one. But one thing we have seen with this Thunder team, even when they're resting players, especially on the road, and if we had time, I'd pull up their road splits and look at that record. But I think regardless of being back home in front of the home court, we've seen guys like Jay Will step up here recently, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, guys like that seem to perform better when they're at home. I think they're still going to get the W regardless of who they rest.
Nick, any thoughts on what you're looking for in a Memphis matchup on Wednesday or on Thursday? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I think to echo the original game against the Kings, I think this is another one that could, in theory, be a playoff matchup. So it's actually a good data point collector kind of game.
I like
That's a good point.
I think this is interesting. The Grizz start Jaw, Bane, Jalen Wells, and then is it still Triple J and Edie?
I don't know if Edie can play a lot in the playoffs in some matchups, but yes.
For sure. Well, when I look at that across the board, I think the Thunder are better at each and every position. You take Shai over Jaw. You take Dub over Bane. You take Dort over Jalen Wells. You take Chet JJJ is a close one. You might take JJJ, but then you obviously take Hart over Edie. And then you get to the bench. And I think the Thunder have the better bench too. It's like there is not a single like positional battle that the Thunder have a disadvantage in that matchup, which is just Memphis is going to be in the playoffs. Memphis might be a home court team. And then you look at that matchup against the Thunder, it's just like there's no one who's better than the guy standing across from them for Memphis. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
The Thunder then end the week with a Saturday night game at home against the Indiana Pacers. I know there's not a lot to read into this one because it's the Pacers and it's an Eastern Conference team, and there's not really much we're looking for in a matchup. But anything that you want to see out of the Thunder in a Pacers game, this is going to be we're not looking at can the two big lineup, do X and Y and Z that could maybe translate to post. This is a fun one. What is something you want to see in this Indiana Pacers game Saturday night, Taylor?
I think it's another great opportunity for Shai to have a big game and continue to cement that MVP case. That's something again, the matchups there, Nembhard can be a good defender at times on the perimeter. I'm going blank on their other solid perimeter defender there, but ultimately I can see Shai having a really big game here and just continue to get some of these guys like we've seen. We've talked about J. Will, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. Third game on this home stretch, I want to see some of those role players continue to step up, make shots, and the Thunder continue to play their brand of defense.
Justin, what's something? Sorry, go ahead.
I want to see the Thunder get another win against the East. I think that's a fun. You mentioned, there's no playoff implications to read into, but the Thunder's record against the East is insane. And
one loss, and I can't remember the wins. Where are they at now?
It's 24, 25, something like that. And they've got this next stretch that you mentioned, Jacob, they play Indiana, Chicago, Detroit, back to back to back. Those are the last 3 games they play against the East this season. If they can roll through those and end with one loss against the East, I don't know what the record is, but that's insane.
That's got to be the record. It has to.
It's super fun. It might be hard to be better. But matchup wise, I want to see the Thunder lock up Halliburton. The Pacers have been playing well lately. And again, like you said, Jacob, I know you can't read into it from a matchup standpoint, but I think Hallie has one of his knocks is that he can be a little passive when the heat gets on. I'd love to see him come out with just a stinker of a stat line against the Thunder.
Okay. Nick, what's something fun you want to see Saturday night, Thunder Pacers?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Don't do that. Don't read the chat.
Just like you want to you talk about the starters against the starters for Memphis and OKC. This is a game I want to see the bench outperform the Pacers bench. They got some pieces that are interesting, and I want to see that battle in that game.
Yeah, the Pacers have a lot of good guards. Ben Shepherd, Andrew Nembhard. I'll tell you what I want to see Saturday night, more than anything. I want to see Isaiah Hartenstein's first 3 in a Thunder uniform.
There we go.
Love it.
I want. I was everything else be damned.
I was thinking you were going to say something about Oos.
No, lose the game. Shai puts up a stinker. Don't care. I want a Hartenstein 3.
I like that.
It when Jacob writes fanfic on the pod.
I want a Hartenstein. That's wild. 3.
You know what? Another thing I want to see, like down the stretch. This is not specific to Indiana, but I was thinking it tonight during the game. There was a couple possessions late where the Clippers threw the double at Shai, like we've seen a lot of teams do, and I don't remember all of the possessions, but there was one that definitely forced Shai into a turnover. I want to continue to see the Thunder attack that. That's the one thing coming out of tonight
that was a little concerning.
It still feels like they haven't figured it out. I don't know if it's enough to cost the Thunder a playoff series, but it's absolutely enough to cost them a playoff game at some point. That they need to
teams
continue.
are doing weird stuff on the double too, dude.
I love it, right? Like continue to do weird stuff. I love that factor of where we're at in the season. Like I want to see teams continue to throw weird stuff at Shai in these last handful of games so that he can get used to going against it and you don't get surprised by something in the playoffs. But I do want to see a little bit more progress against that double because it feels like it works more often than not.
There's been
point too,
there's
Jacob.
been double with man on the backside. There's been double with zone on the backside. Yeah. There's been double with a shade on the backside. Like teams are getting funky. And I don't. There's times where it feels like
Nick.
There are times when the double is a problem. And there are times where they just execute it beautifully and just blitz the other team, because once Shai gets off of it, you're playing 4-on-3. And this team's got good enough passers just to beat that every time. They've got good enough cutters to beat it every time. So it's exciting.
And they didn't have, again, we keep saying this, they didn't have Dub or Chet. And that's going to help so much
Totally.
more for Chet, or for Shai to have those outlets. But one last thing, I also have like kind of a big thing I'm looking for over this next handful of games. And it's something that Nick alluded to earlier. Nick and I's friend Shane Young tweeted this out the other night after the Thunder blew out whoever it was Friday. I'm going blank now. That's 45 double-digit victories for the Thunder, 6 away from the record in an NBA season. And there's some of these games like we're talking about even through this home stretch that I think the Thunder could continue to close that gap. So that would be quite the testament, I think, for this Thunder team to be able to reach that record or tie that record, surpass it. Pretty dominant.
All right.
Let's break some records. That's what I heard.
I think we're all going 3-0 for the week.
I think so too.
What's your money ball?
I was going to say we didn't do money balls.
I think my money ball I'm putting on the Memphis game.
I'm putting my money ball in the Memphis game, mainly because I'll be there and I just really want them to win.
That helps too.
I'll switch it up and go Pacers.
Okay. Nick's going the Kings. I don't know if that's true. Nick's not on the show anymore. He left, but I'm
Nick's Wi-Fi went out, and for the degenerates in the chat, he just sent a text that said, "I'm lost at sea." Stay on brand.
It's good. Gentlemen, anything else before we get out of here?
Apparently, I didn't pronounce the T very well on cement.
All right. Thank you for tuning into the Uncontested Podcast. We really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, we would encourage you to join the Patreon. Come hang out with us in the Discord. It is a good place, I promise. Don't believe what everyone else tells you. Go drink some Prairie Artisan Ales. We would really appreciate it if you did that. And we will be back Wednesday. No super late night Tuesday pod after the Kings game. We'll be back on Wednesday. And then I believe we'll have a show Thursday after the Grizz game, and then next Sunday for the normal Sunday game. So you guys have a good beginning of your week. We'll see you Wednesday. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.